Welcome, everybody, to S&B Podcast Spring News Bulletin. Today we have a special edition. It's the NBA Cup edition. I have a special guest host. His name is Rich Pick from Florida. He's an ex-Brooklynite, all sports New York. He's very knowledgeable, so I brought him on today as my guest host. So today we're going to talk about the NBA Cup. You had the Knicks versus the Orlando Magic. Okay, so it was a great game back and forth. We expected it. Knicks, we didn't know what to expect. Either they're going to play that great game or they're going to be sloppy, turn over, and choke at the end. But they do have a new coach this year, Mike Brown. So Mike Brown is doing an awesome job, in my opinion. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I think so far, doing better.
All right. The game did end in at the end, it basically was like a blowout. So final score was 132 to 120 Knicks. At the end, they kept it together. They were choking a little bit, but then they found a way, playing great defense. Mikal Bridges, a couple blocks from Cat himself, and then Jalen Brunson just took over. He hits threes. He takes a short jumper. I mean, he was all over the place. He scored 40 points tonight. I mean, like we said, the Knicks defeated them 132-120. Jalen Brunson was the player of the game. He scored 40 points. Amazing. I love watching this guy take over a game. He's somebody who we desperately need to play good. If he's off, the Knicks are off. And then we can't also have the co-hosts of this big show in the NBA Cup. You got Cat and you got Anunoby. I mean, Cat, I don't want him to leave because he's a big guy, but he plays like a power forward. He scores, block shots. He does it all. You also have other players like Mikal Bridges. You got bench players. And Mike Brown, he's actually doing a great job, and he's utilizing everybody that Tibbs didn't do. Tibbs liked to burn out his players, and then when the bench came on, they were too cold, can't help out. Am I right? What do you think on that? What's your opinion on Tibbs and Mike Brown?
A couple of things about today's game. They stepped away a little bit from what Brown has been doing this season. He's been emphasizing taking 43s a game. Tonight they only took 20, but their 2-point game, they were 61% from the field. So they took less shots, but they were scoring at a higher percentage. So they stepped a little bit away from that goal of 43-pointers a game. Another thing was I noticed that he's been taking the ball out of Brunson's hands to bring it up court so it doesn't tire him out. And teams do like to get up on him, and it takes away from the shot clock, and it takes longer to get into the offense. And it figures that now my phone would ring.
It's all right.
Anyway, I had it on silent all day. I put it on for a call earlier and shut it off. But anyway, he did step away a little bit from what they've been doing this year. And I've watched this is the fourth game, I think, with Orlando. And Orlando has played the Knicks really well. Yeah. And they beat them the first two games. And the last game, one of the Wagner brothers is out, and the Knicks were able to take advantage. Now, if Orlando had been full strength with Wagner, it might have been a different outcome, because the matchup seems that Orlando plays them very well. So kudos to the Knicks to take care of business and move on to that cup final.
Right. You make some great points. They stepped away from their original game plan that Mike Brown's had them taking like 43s a game, but that also had something to do with the Magic's defense. They are a young team. They play hard. They play great in the fast break. They're a good rebounding team as well. But the Knicks today, I guess, out-rebounded them, or maybe they're kind of equal.
It was even.
It was even, right? 41?
That's something, 41 apiece. That's something I watched. When the Knicks out-rebound their opponent, much better odds of winning. But it was even. And I think the big difference in the game was that Orlando did take over 43s, and they were like 30, 32, 30, about 32%. So Had they hit the long ball, it might have been a different outcome.
Right. Like I said, I mean, the players of the game, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, without these two guys, they're pretty much the glue that holds the team together. If they both falter, it's over. I mean, like we said, Jalen Brunson scored 40 points tonight, had a great, amazing game. I actually had thoughts about if Jason Brunson could carry the team when they started coming back, the Magic, that is, was coming back. I think, Brunson, you got to take over, and that's what he did. He scored 40 points, took over the game. And then, of course, Karl Anthony Towns added to that as well with 29 points and 8 rebounds. So the stats are there. We can't forget the other guys as well. Anunoby. We have also Mikal Bridges, great defender. He turned out to a real big scorer this year. I guess Mike Brown's utilizing his scoring ability, which Tibbs really didn't do, giving him more time and utilizing the bench as well. Because the Knicks do use their bench this year under Mike Brown, look like more of a complete team. And like you said before, it kind of gives a rest to the starters. So they're able to do that, you know. So, kudos to the Knicks. They won 132-120. There's a great win. They go into the finals right now. So they will be, playing for the championship. If they don't win the championship and the NBA championship, then at least the NBA Cup will be a good thing to have, especially for first-year coach Mike Brown for the Knicks. That's my take on the season.
Well, there was another point I wanted to bring up is that he, unlike Tibbs, he has backed off the starters' minutes. Tonight, it took the starting five. Some played 40 minutes and high 30s to get the job done, because otherwise that game would have been a lot closer. So they needed to keep their starters in, and also the stat sheets were pretty even. The Knicks took less shots, but that high shooting percentage, was the difference. And the other thing was that all five starters were in double digits.
That's right. Both teams have that. So
even though Brunson got his 40, everybody touched the ball and everybody got their shots.
Right, but Brunson needed to score that 40. Without that 40, him taking his level up a notch, it's going to be a different game, different story today. We could be sulking and saying same old Knicks. But they held it together. Brunson is a leader, along with Cat, Anunoby. There were a couple of things that kind of annoyed me, like this could have been more of a blowout. The misplays of fancy reverse layups that you had no business doing when you got two guys on you. I mean, you got to clean that up. The turnovers have to stop now, I mean, they're going to advance to the NBA Cup. Now, right now we have the Spurs playing the Thunder. So what do you think about that game? Who do you think they're going to be playing for the Cup?
So this will be a true test. I mean, I haven't been watching the Spurs and OKC. Obviously, I know about their record, they're 24-1. The Thunder are. So I would expect that they'll play the Thunder. I mean, it could be an upset tonight, but it'll be a true test because they're going to be playing a playoff caliber team. They've been taking care of business, beating on the teams losing records.
Right. Now,
this month, with the exception of, I think, the Pacers and the Pelicans, they're playing teams winning records. So Tuesday night, whether it's the Spurs or the Thunder, they're going to play a playoff caliber team. Let's see what medal they have.
I mean, regardless of who they play, it's going to be a tough game. They really have to cut out all the mistakes, all the turnovers, and the shot selections that are kind of ridiculous to make. You don't have the shot, pass it. The time the clock runs out. At least you tried. You didn't make a stupid mistake, because on the fast break, on the turnovers, you see Magic was scoring a lot of points, kept it close for a while. And because they kept it close for a while, it gives us fans, a little bit of high blood pressure, which I don't need. So I neither do you at our age, but
actually, they only had 12 turnovers tonight. And one thing I noticed, Cat, a pet peeve of mine of his is that he makes bad fouls, the ticky-tack fouls, the unnecessary push-off when he can score. He didn't do that today. So that was very helpful. Again, that high shooting percentage was the difference. And Orlando being cold from the 3-point line. Big difference.
All right. So what are your predictions, though, as far as what do you think is going to happen? Let's just say you got to pick something. I know it's being subjective, and everything is objective, but
Hey, I'm a lifelong Knicks fan. I think that they're going to play the Thunder, and the Thunder will beat them.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but the Thunder are just a real solid team. So let's see how close maybe they pull it off, but let's see how close it is.
I mean, I agree with you. The Thunder they look like they're unstoppable. But if the Knicks cut out those silly turnovers and they take the shot selections they're supposed to, and they play their game, it's going to be down to the wire, and we'll have an enjoyable NBA Cup. This is something Knicks really should put in their they should wear their hearts on their sleeves, because they actually do play like that. But sometimes, make some dumb mistakes and dumb moves. But Mike Brown, I think he'll keep it together. I like him as a coach. I like the difference in feel of the team. You have a bench, you're able to see who else is on the team. It's not just the 5 starters running out of gas and then having a heart attack and falling and not being able to dribble anymore. Tibbs used to burn out everyone. So you don't expect to win like that. With Mike Brown, I have some good feelings about him and the team. So going forward, I'll say the same thing you are. Oklahoma City maybe wins by 2 or 4 points, but there is a chance of an upset. All right, so once again, we said the Knicks defeated the Magic 132-120. That's all we'll have on the Knicks. We're going to move on to the actual Mets 2025 offseason moves, lack thereof. So this is going to be your department. You're going to talk about the Mets a little bit more. Start us off, Rich.
Well, a lifelong Met fan, wearing my Knick and Met orange. It's about changing the face of the team. Listen, I love Pete Alonso, and I'll tell you, when the Mets first got Diaz, I was not a fan. He had a bad first year, but he turned me around. Right. I do understand that they had about 5 more years left on Nimmo's contract, and his knees are starting to give out. And so I was reading something that since Cohen took over the team, they've had $1.2 billion in payroll. And even though they had record crowd last year, and which preceded the record crowd from the year before, they're actually operating in the red as a ball club. A lot of people won't believe that, but it does come down to dollars and cents. So I think that Stearns is breaking it down. They want to get younger and cheaper. Now, they did sign a Polanco away from Seattle, and he's never played first base. Now they have a glut of middle infielders. So $20 million a year for 2 years. So they're giving $40 million to Polanco. Don't know how that's going to work. I thought they might be in on this Japanese guy who hit for average and plays first base, but Murakara.
Which guy is that?
Yeah, I say Murakara. I'm not sure.
Is he from Japan, or he plays?
Yeah, there's two guys coming over. One's a slugger, but doesn't hit the high fastball very well, high strikeout rate. And there's another guy who's more like, say, Mattingly, Olerud, Hernandez, hits for average and plays the position well. I think that's Murakara. But I don't know. It's still early. There's still moves to be made, obviously. So they're breaking down the team. There's rumors about, they're talking to the Padres about a couple of things. There's rumors about, trying to unload Lindor for Tatis. I don't know how true that would be or if it makes sense. So they're just going to change the face of the team. Now, I don't resist change if it's for the right reasons. I like this team. I felt I did not like their starting pitching going into last season.
Right.
I didn't like their pitching with Verlander and Scherzer the year before.
No,
I saw that's a problem. I saw injuries and breakdown, So, of course, both leave New York and then pitch well again,
Right.
Typical. But I saw that when they started the season off and they played really well first month or two, and then the pitching went down. Starting pitching affected the relief pitching.
Right.
The Mets, now I was looking, so he was talking about run prevention. So I started looking up some stats. The Mets were actually in metrics of runs saved, and they were around 15th in the league, right in the middle of the pack. But fielding percentage, they were ranked 13th. So they were a little bit average in defense. The offense, a little, sketchy at times. 6th in home runs, 6th in on-base percentage,
right.
9th in batting average. I think a total team offense, they ranked around 10th in the league. So the offense was good. The thing is, they weren't clutch.
Right.
When they win, they could win big. But when they needed that big hit in a close game, they weren't getting it. Whereas in 24, they were. So to run out the same team with this financial responsibility, they're obviously operating the red. I could see them wanting to make a change.
Right.
I hate to see Pete go. I was disappointed that Diaz left. I think it's a step back, obviously, to go to Devin Williams as your closer now. And other relievers, those first and second tier relievers, they're dropping off the board. So I don't know how they remake the bullpen.
No, I agree with you.
Challenging 26.
Yeah, everything you said is pretty much on the money. I just thought there was a no-brainer bringing him back, because what do you have out there? I mean, you pay this guy Polanco money, as you mentioned, $40 million for what? He's not even a first baseman. And then, of course, Pete Alonso, bye-bye Mets, he's gone. He signed a 5-year contract, $155 million with the Orioles. So he's no longer with us, with the Mets. So, and don't forget, here's Edwin Diaz, who, for some reason, the Mets thought he wasn't going anywhere, but he decided to join the champions, LA Dodgers, on a 3-year contract for $69 million, sorry. And you bring in Devin Williams from the Yankees, or now who's the next Yankee, who's now a Met. You should have had some conversation with him with Diaz, but I think you may have spoken about this early in private, that he wanted to leave. He thought he had a better chance at getting that World Series, which he does with the Dodgers. And he has some good numbers, and that really hurts the Mets. Now, as far as payroll being in the red, I mean, Cohen being a great owner, I guess your GM, I guess, is still the, I don't know, I think he's just trying to be too conservative. And I know he wants to rebuild the younger players, but this is New York. New York doesn't like that rebuild stuff. You need to win now. Soto's contract, me and you spoke about it. I didn't like it. I think you didn't like it either. They could have maybe built that contract someone like Ohtani's. Dodgers are very smart with his contract, paying only really $2 million a year. Everything else is in the bank collecting interest. So they're going to make money on this contract anyway, and he will get that money. So like the wheeling and dealing of the GM of the Dodgers and every other team that's not New York are back without all the noise going on in this big city, that they're able to make these decisions and smart business decisions. So Soto was that's why the Yankees didn't sign him. He was a headache. You can sign him for all that, give him everything he wants. He's a prima donna, came in heavy in Mets offseason, had a beer belly, drinking cervezas, who knows. But you also got, you're losing Edwin Diaz, your closer. Now you're really kind of screwed with that. So Pete Alonso, your first baseman, all those numbers out the window. And now with, like you said, Lindor and Soto both overpaid, regardless. These guys are not worth the money they're paid, regardless. But that's the market. That's the game nowadays. I think it's just hilarious about all the money going in. But the owners do make money as well. But Cohen needs to step in and get somebody who really, I thought he'd really bring in some good baseball people. I mean, not to knock Stern, but I don't like his moves. I don't like his ideology as far as being a New York baseball team. I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm glad Soto was gone. He's your headache now as Met fans. And I bet you in a couple of years, I want the trade. That's what's going to happen, unfortunately,
And I hope they do before he, he's not worth the annual average salary that he's getting. But, Stearns, get younger, athletic, and less expensive, and let guys walk when they're, due to be paid. I hated to see Pete go. Good, homegrown Met. Still, I'd say in the prime of his career as a first baseman, as a slugger. I mean, that's like Stern says, his offense is his calling card.
Right.
But there's nobody else. There's nobody else out there who was going to protect Soto like Pete was, and I think Pete definitely has several good years left in him. He's going to make a killing in that small ballpark in Baltimore. I think also with him being married and with his wife, I listened to his press conference, and I think that he was resigned to the fact he was coming back, and they want to raise a family probably somewhere in the Maryland suburbs. So, all the power to him, and I'm happy for him. As a Met fan, I'm disappointed, but the jury's still out on this Stearns era of putting together. He wants the team to have his look. He inherited ball players, and he's chipping away at getting rid of these guys. And let's see what he does. Now, let's see what's on the farm. I mean, Jet Williams, Ryan Clifford, Carson Benj. You've seen a little bit of Sproat, Tong, and McLean. Everybody's like, we're talking about trades. McLean's off the table.
Right.
He had a good start. How many pitchers come up from the minors and have a really good start and then don't have an outstanding career though? Right. You get that, that rookie luck, and then they don't repeat it. So when people say, Tarek Skubal, McLean's off the table. No, I take the proven commodity of the two-time Cy Young of the last 2 years. If you had to give up McLean and you could lock up Skubal for a long-term contract, and I'm not against locking up pitching long-term, because guys blow out their arms way too often. So, it's a tough balancing act to do. And I understand we're in a big market. We've got to spend money. But I think they're looking at what, they have spent, and they haven't won a World Series in 5 years. Maybe they're looking at, okay, let's pare it down and get young and athletic.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long road ahead. You do have a couple months of spring training, so when February rolls around, I'm definitely going to have you back as a guest host. We're going to talk a lot of baseball, a lot of Mets and Yankees. So, let's talk about your Jets. I mean, looks like Brady Cook is going to be the change. Making a QP change.
Are they in the Canadian League?
CFL, right?
They're awful. They're awful. I was having a conversation with somebody over the Thanksgiving holiday about the Jets and talking about guys coming in here or guys who have left the Jets and go on to have good careers. And we came to the conclusion that it's the organization, that it's ownership down. It's not necessarily the coaching staff, although some of the coaches that they've picked are very questionable. Adam Gase, so I think there's a problem with the organization.
Right.
And, so let's see. And, they're probably not even going to pick that high in the draft. I mean, right now, the Giants are the first pick. I think the Jets are somewhere around 8th or so.
Right.
So let's see what they do with their draft selections. The draft capital they collected by unloading Gardner and Williams, I believe, right? Linebacker. So let's see what they do. I mean, this year it was terrible. I mean, it's tough to watch. I mean, tomorrow I'll watch them, but it's really difficult.
What do you think about Aaron Glenn as a coach, first-year coach? I know we got to give him some time, but I don't know. The Jets don't seem to have that hunger, that attraction. As long as Woody Johnson's part of the team, he owns the team, I think you guys are in for a long haul for pretty much depression for the next few years. There were some rumors out there that he was going to actually sell the team. I was hoping that, he would do that. I mean, I'm not a Jet fan. I'm a Cowboy fan, so I got my own problems for 32 years with no championship. But at least the Cowboys are better than the Jets. So I do the Jets as a second team because of my son, because I do feel bad for him. And one of my brothers is a Jet fan, and you're a Jet fan. I know you for so many years. You're one of my, longtime friends. But, Jets are horrible until they change. I think they need a new uniform change, a new identity, a new owner, new coaches. Need somebody with experience. You need somebody with like a winning guy, a winning coach. Even McCarthy, an ex-Cowboy coach. If you had him there, I think he might have. I mean, he does make some bad decisions with clock management stuff, but that would be a step up to at least try to rebuild.
They seem to be big on bringing in, coordinators and making them coaches. So, Aaron Glenn, I liked him as a player. He seems like a decent human being.
Right.
Early in the season, I saw the rookie head coach mistakes,
Right.
going for it on their side of the field, on 4th and 1 when it's unnecessary, or going for 2 points when the mathematics didn't, early in the game, when the math didn't, dictate to go for 2, and then missing, and then it forced them to have to go for 2 twice more later in the game. So some of these knee-jerk, decisions, I think, as a rookie head coach, we'll see if he matures. He's got the passion. He's a good human being. It seems, at least, publicly seems that way. So I wish him the best. I think they really need a good draft this offseason and a couple of moves and see what happens.
We'll see who wins. Giants and Jets on being the worst team and, getting, what's the guy's name again? The quarterback from
Jackson Dart?
No, the quarterback is from the draft. No, the draft quarterback for Iowa. What team was he? Iowa?
I think they just announced the Heisman today. I didn't see who it was.
Did they?
Yes, they announced it today, but I didn't see who it was.
We'll check out later. That's good for another time. We're into the NBA Cup right now in the Knicks. I mean, they're having a great season, and that's something to root for. Okay, forget about the Giants, forget about the Jets. Yankees and Mets are nowhere to be root for them, even though, even the Yankees have their problems as well, retaining players and getting new players. But, as far as New York sports go, right now the Knicks are it. The Rangers, I haven't been watching them at all the past 2 years. They annoy me. They really bring people down, fans down. I mean, I know we're good. Listen, they bring us down. Even though I have my brothers who are just still diehards and they'll continue watching them, I gave up. The Knicks are the only thing keeping the spark of interest in any sport now. And I'll support them to the end. Even if they lose the NBA Cup, at least they made it there. They have something to be proud of, a stepping stone, a building stone, So, all right, that's all we have today for Spring News Bulletin SMB Podcast. I'd like to thank Rich Pick for being my guest host here today, and we'll bring him back for another maybe MLB division or edition, actually, for we'll talk more Mets, Yankees, and other teams in Major League Baseball. But I would tell him to brush up on UFL because that's my main podcast, talking about United Football League. As everyone knows, I'm an all-football podcaster, but I do like to dwell into other sports as well. Right now, the Knicks, the hot ticket. And congratulations to the Knicks once again. Final score 132-120. Going to the finals of the NBA Cup to be determined. Right now, it's a pretty even game at this point. Oklahoma beating the Spurs right now. I won't tell you the score, but it's smaller percentage points. But we'll see what happens with them. Good luck to the Knicks. Again, thank you, Rich Pick. It's great seeing you again. Thank you for co-hosting. We'll have you back again. And once again, this is Coach Rick of SMB Podcast. We're out.